Hey everyone, it's me again, and I have no foundation on, and you guys know what that means. It means I'm gonna do a first impression. I ended up getting a kit from QVC. This is what the box looks like, and QVC was having a special on Eve Pearl, and I had heard a lot about Eve Pearl from makeup artists I follow here on YouTube or on Instagram, but I had never tried any of her stuff myself. It was always a little bit out of my price range, but they had a special on QVC where you got $260 worth of Eve Pearl product for 70 bucks including shipping. So I was all about that. So you get a lipstick, her infamous dual salmon concealer, a blush trio, the HD 4060 dual foundation, and 2 double-ended brushes. First of all, can we talk about how this is packaged? I mean, that is beautiful. Like, immediately you look at it, you see all the products laid out very delicately, and it just makes you want to play. So I've heard about Eve Pearl's dual salmon concealer. I've heard it is infamous, it's one of the best in the industry. This is what the box looks like. Very professional, there you go. And I'm gonna be testing out this and the foundation just to see what it's like. Pop the compact out here. There's the compact. It's made of a kind of lightweight plastic, particularly for something that's supposed to be so high-end. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but there's the product inside. It's divided into 2. I got the shade light. I don't know if this is gonna be too dark on me or what, but we will see. You've got a skin tone shade right here for it's like a peachy shade for color correcting, and then this is a brightener shade to kind of bring light back under the eyes. I'm going to use the same brush I always use for concealer. I'm going to use my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush, and first I'm going to dip into this peachy shade, very creamy. I like that. You can see I got a decent amount of product on there, and we're just going to get right into it. Ooh, that's a nice formula. That is very creamy, blending out beautifully. Very nice. And I'm just gonna put this all around those dark areas. But there you go. There is side by side. This one has no product on it. This one has the peach corrector. So far, the shade is dead on. I mean, that's almost my skin tone. It's just a little bit peachy. It's not gonna be like this super extreme intense corrector, but I like that. Nice coverage on that. I don't really have a whole lot of dark circles to cover up, but that covered what little I have beautifully. Looks good on the inside too. Blends out, it's not too harsh. Now I'm gonna dig into this highlighter shade, just a tap, and then we're just gonna brighten. Woo! See that? Dang, that's bright. I'm just gonna kind of mix that in with the other concealer. Not too much, again, because this one's a little more intense. I am very pleasantly surprised with this concealer. This is a beautiful formula. It's gliding right on my skin. I forgot to use primer. So we're gonna be testing this Sans primer, but that's good. You know, I feel like that's important because sometimes you're in a rush and you don't have time to like cake on product on your face. So you're gonna want something that's gonna work the first time, every time. So there you go. This is the side that is concealed and corrected. This is the side that is not. I'll just kind of do a little turn here. It's very natural. I like that a lot, actually. This, I forget what this retails for. I'll go ahead and look it up and put it right here. But this blended out beautifully while still maintaining a decent amount of coverage. My dark circles are totally covered up. And my face on this side is brightened. It looks lifted, much less tired. And I didn't have to use hardly any product at all. Like, I literally just tapped my brush in a couple times. And this is the result. I'll just test the buildability here. Putting a little more on top. And that seems to build quite nicely. It's not looking too cakey. I've got some larger pores right here. And if I come in close, you can kind of see them a little bit just right there. but not too bad at all, honestly. And a primer can easily fix that issue. I'm just gonna do one half of my face, and then I'll do the other half off camera once I'm done. Of course, I picked the half that doesn't have as much to cover up because I'm a genius. But this is the Eve Pearl HD 4060 Dual Foundation. Now, Eve Pearl is known for a technique called reverse contouring, where basically you take the principles of contour, apply them to foundation backwards. So there's a learning curve to this stuff, and I've tried to do my research and do my best to figure out how to do this, but she's got this nifty little diagram here that comes with the foundation, and then some instructions on the back, very nifty. Again, packaging is the same, a little bit lightweight for how expensive it is. I think this foundation is somewhere in the $50 range, so pretty expensive. You've got a sponge in the bottom here that does double in size when it gets wet, so it's kind of like that beauty blender type material. And then you've got the product. You can see this isn't divided in half. You've got the highlight shade right here and the reverse contour shade right here that's a little bit bigger. I'm a little worried about this. I got the shade light. I am not sure if this is going to match me. I think it's gonna be a little too warm, but we will see. It also came with two dual-ended brushes. This is the contour blender brush. So we've got this kind of flat topped angle brush and then this kind of foundation application brush. My one issue with double-ended brushes is I like to have protective sleeves on these brushes to keep them from getting too dirty. And once you take the protective sleeve off, you really can't put it back on without smushing the hairs on the brushes. So kind of a point of contention with me, but that doesn't really have anything to do with Eve Pearl or the way she designed this stuff, and more to do with my contention with double-ended face brushes. It says, while smiling, apply side 1 to the lighter side of the foundation below the cheeks, above the jawline, and on the eyelids. So basically you're taking this lighter color, and I'm gonna use the flat side of this foundation brush, just dig into that product right there, and you're putting it where you would normally put contour. So like right here. So far that's applying very nicely. It almost matches my skin tone. This is below the cheekbone, above the jawline. Coverage is looking pretty good. It's very creamy, very rich. I am a little concerned about this foundation because it does have oil in it. And I am an acne-prone individual, but she markets it as a way to cover up acne. So obviously this would be safe on acne-prone skin. While smiling, apply side 2, the darker shade of the foundation to cheek, forehead area, nose, chin, and anywhere where there is redness, discoloration, or the need for extra coverage. So I'm gonna dip in to this darker shade. I have a bad feeling this is gonna be way too orange on me, but we will see. So it says cheek, forehead, nose, chin, and anywhere where there is redness. So there's my cheek, tops of the cheeks. And this is just applying. I'm not really blending anything yet. I'm just taking the flat side of this foundation brush and applying this. Tap a little bit on this little friend right here. Bye, girl, don't want you here. Now I can tell you right now this foundation is a touch warm on me, which is kind of what I figured would happen, honestly. And then we're gonna go underneath that sort of contour spot. And then blend together to achieve a smooth, flawless complexion with contours and definition. So I'm gonna take the other side and I'm gonna blend. I've been told to blend backward with this. So I'm gonna blend facing backward and kind of blend up and out to give this a lifted appearance. That is it with the product blended in. You can see it's a very natural finish. I don't feel like this is super full coverage, which honestly, I mean, there are some days where I do want that full-on coverage, but this doesn't seem like it's the kind of foundation that's going to be marketed for that kind of thing. It's meant to be a very natural finish. It's meant so you don't need to use like powder and cream contours and things like that. So like for a day-to-day thing, if I'm just filming and I need something to correct a few things, then this can be a very good foundation for that from what I'm experiencing. You can still see my skin through this foundation, and I mean, it does claim that it's supposed to be able to cover up acne, scarring, dark spots, anything like that. So the fact that I'm still seeing this right here is a little bit concerning to me. But again, this is something that comes with a learning curve, so for all I know, I might not be using enough. There's the foundation blended onto the skin. I'll get all up in your grill so you can see what's kind of going on here. I've got a little bit of pore action going on. Those are a little bit prominent for my taste. But again, I did not use a primer, so that can kind of be solved with a primer most of the time. Foundation is not meant to conceal anything. That's why, you know, concealer was invented. But foundation is meant to even out your skin tone. And from my experience, you know, looking at my skin right now, that is absolutely what this foundation seems to have done. It's not quite covering up these kind of darker marks down here, but at the same time, it is evening out my skin tone. It's, you know, making sure that everything is one color, which is kind of nice because my skin can get quite blotchy. It feels very lightweight. It doesn't really feel like I'm wearing much at all, and it doesn't feel like it's irritating anything. I'm just gonna start doing the other half of my face here while I'm at it. But yeah, when I have sensitive skin, so a lot of the time I can tell if a foundation is going to react negatively on me just by feel, because as soon as I put it on, and give me a thumbs up if you experience this too, as soon as I put on a foundation, I can tell if it's not gonna work because my skin will start to itch. I'm loving this stuff. Regardless of what happens with the foundation, this concealer gets a total Faith Grenade seal of approval. I mean, this stuff is gorgeous. Let's go ahead and test this on those acne scars. Hey guys. Now I think one kind of hole in this reverse contour stuff is that not everyone has imperfections in the same place. You know, a lot of people's acne occurs in their T-zone, so reverse contouring would make sense. For someone like me who has acne in their contour area, I'm afraid this wouldn't make as much sense because I feel like the highlight shade is just going to exaggerate my already existing acne spots. So there's one layer of the foundation on my entire face, and honestly, it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's a very natural finish. This isn't something that I would wear like on stage to a burlesque show or anything like that, but it looks really beautiful in person. It feels like skin, honestly. It does seem to set a little bit. I don't see any coming off on my hands. There's a little tiny bit of transfer, but not too much. It does seem to set quite nicely. Everything blended together really well. I don't feel like it's blotchy. I don't feel like I have a whole lot of patchiness going on. Maybe a little on my forehead, but that's because I did like one half of my face and then the other. So you've got that kind of line down the middle, but that can be easily blended away. Yeah, all in all, other than the coverage being a little bit lighter than I was expecting, I am really happy with this. I think it looks very nice. I think the finish is super pretty and kind of, you know, I would say it's a demi-matte. It's definitely not matte by a long shot, but it's not very luminous either. It's got just that little bit of a sheen, but it's very natural. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far. Let's see, it is currently 2:51 in the afternoon. I'm going to be finishing up filming a video. I'm gonna put on the rest of my face, and I will probably check in with you guys after I finish my makeup just to tell you kind of how this, you know, works with my other products. So I will be right back. All right, guys, I am back. I have all of my makeup done, including some contour, some natural contour like the conventional contour method, highlight, bronzer, all kinds of stuff. I set it with some dewy setting spray because I always do that. For the contour and the highlight, I did use a powder contour and a powder highlight. So let's just take a look at the texture of my skin. This responded to powder very, very well. All of my powder products seem to blend very seamlessly. There was no patchiness. I couldn't see any of the foundation sliding off. It did seem to set very nicely and take to product very well. Super impressed with that. I didn't have a translucent powder nearby. Otherwise, I would have probably powdered this area just a small bit, just a little. And that's just because I tend to get oily in that area first. But so far it looks really good. There's a little shine right here, but that's something that's been there since I put the foundation on. That's just the finish of the foundation. I think, and I can't tell if this is from the bronzer or just from the foundation, but I think the foundation oxidized a small bit and did get a little bit darker. So I'm looking a little bit orange in the face. You can't really see that on camera. And it's not anything that I would really worry about too much, to be honest with you, because worst case scenario, I can just use this foundation in the summer when I'm a little bit darker. I'm gonna go ahead and go about the rest of my day. Not too much going on, honestly. I'm think about what I'm gonna make hubby bear for dinner before he goes to work nights, and I will keep checking in with you guys throughout the day so we can see how this pans out. Hi, there's my girl. People wanted to see the ferret mobile. This is the ferret mobile. Hey guys, checking in again for the Eve Pearl foundation and concealer. It is currently 8:20 in the evening. I've just been killing time until my friend and I are supposed to go out this evening, but let's take a look at the foundation. You guys, I'm really impressed. This, literally, I've blotted one time, and that's it. It still looks awesome. Like, hasn't really settled into any pores, hasn't separated, hasn't disappeared on me. I mean, granted, I haven't exactly been putting it through its paces. Today's just been a bunch of doing some stuff around the house, like housework and things like that, but you know, I'm not exactly running a marathon in this thing, but I mean, I'm putting it through a typical day, and so far it's looking really good. They don't have a very wide shade range, so a lot of people are gonna run into the same problems I did, where the lightest shade is way too light, but the next shade down is a little too dark. So that's gonna happen with this particular foundation because there isn't a big shade range of it. But so far, so good. I will be back at the end of the night before I take my makeup off to check in one last time. Hey everyone, good evening. It is the end of the night here for me. I'm about to take my makeup off. I don't have my phone with me, it's dead, but you're gonna have to take my word for it when I tell you it's 12:30 a.m. So well after midnight. Let's take a look at my foundation. Still looking pretty damn good, considering I've had it on for like, what? Started at like 2 p.m., so like 10 hours. Not bad at all. 10 hours with, mind you, no primer, no powder, nothing. Just 10 hours straight wear. Looking in the mirror, I'm definitely oily again right around my nose, but that only happened recently. My lines are starting to show a little bit. There's some texture on the sides of my nose, but other than that, guys, this has been really good. Like, I was not expecting it to last as long as it has, given, you know, how little I did to kind of keep it lasting longer. So all in all, staying power, I'm really impressed. The concealer is fantastic. It's still doing a fantastic job as well. The only downside I would say to this range is the creams in the foundation and the concealer are oil-based. So people who are particularly acne prone, I mean, I'm pretty acne prone too, so I don't know if this is gonna break me out or not. I'll keep you guys updated and let you know if it does. I'll keep using it, but it may break you out because it is oil-based. It does have coconut oil and a few other oil-based ingredients in it. If you have super oily skin, I would skip on this. I only really get very lightly oily in some areas, so I'm not exactly a good tester for that. But I could see this going very greasy very quickly on someone who is naturally very oily. The shade selection is not too great, and I feel like the distance, like the gap between the fair shade and the light shade, the one I use today, is such a wide shade gap. You could fit easily 4 shades in there. First impressions are really good. Is this foundation worth the $50-something price tag? Time will tell. If it keeps, you know, performing the way it has today, then if you can find a shade that matches you, yeah, absolutely. I hope you guys found this first impression of the Eve Pearl cream foundation and concealer helpful. If you guys did, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt, you know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe and become a member of the faithful today. I put up new videos every Sunday, and if you really love me, there's a link to my Patreon in the description too. You can check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me for this little adventure, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!